Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well in your world. We're one day removed from the big time uh, NBA trade deadline where a record was broken in terms of how many players have been traded at a deadline. Um, I'm watching the game. It's a little difficult to watch at the moment due to the fact that, we know that all the newly acquired players are not active quite yet, a vast majority at least. The significant ones that I really wanted to see at least. So I figured I'd get this video off. It's not necessarily the conventional kind of videos that I do. I like to talk purely basketball, but this is a little off the Richter from what I do. This video is about the Nico Harris story and him having to hire private security. I guess I'll start off by saying, one of the quotes I live by that helps me keep falling forward in life is, and I tell people all the time, like I didn't realize how much trauma I've experienced in my life because I'm always just in all gas mode, even though I move at my own pace these days. Until I realized someone asked me one time, what age do you wish you could go back to? And I said, honestly, I don't miss anything about my past, and I love right now, and I'm all locked into the now. And there's a quote, the past looks better than it was, the future is scarier than it is. And I feel like, in this society these days, we got phones, we got the internet. Intellectually, society's more challenging than it's ever been to navigate. And it's almost like a war on people's minds, so to speak, because our minds are so occupied and constantly thinking. And I look at it as the equivalent to like something that's been running all day. It needs time to cool off. Or if you work out 3 times a day, your muscles are actually made when you're recovering. And if you don't recover, then eventually your mind goes through an overheat. And not many people are good at, even if they are just laying there, they're overworked. They're still overworked because you can't turn your mind off in this society. And because of that, I feel like this generation, more than I've seen, is such a victimhood mentality era that we live in, right? Oppression, difficulties, tribulations have always been a thing, but it just seems like, I guess maybe because of the internet, it's more focused on than ever. And where I'm going with all this is the fact that the Dallas Mavericks fans seem to have forgotten all the defensive lapses or the running jokes on Twitter when they were talking about, the Mavs are losing steam now. Luka has a knee injury. All of a sudden, he's limping. Like, these were all the little jokes that were being made about Luka. And then Nico goes and says, "Hey, I'm gonna do something about this," because I've never felt a warmth from Luka towards the Mavs. I'm gonna be honest with you. Even towards Dirk, him and Porzingis for that matter. There was just an unusual coldness. It wasn't like let me be under Big Brother's arm. It was like, yeah, that's what's up, cool, all right, cool. Like a distance and a coldness between them. I never sensed a warm embrace. And so when you pair all this into factor, the lack of defense, the defensive lapses, the lack of connection with Dirk, I don't care what people want to tell me. I know what my eyes see go. I just never felt like there was that lock, and then, you can say he bought a house and all that, but then that means, all that tells me is he was being arrogant. Like, they need me. I'm the best thing to happen to him. And now the Mavs are responding in a way the Mavs fans are acting like they lost their Kobe. And I'm just kind of shocked because, first of all, you got one guy who's injury prone in Anthony Davis, and then you got a guy who's poorly conditioned. Injuries is one thing, but being poorly conditioned, especially at 25, And it's ironic that Michael Finley in that scene snatched a beer from him, because that in a microcosm explained everything you needed to know. And I always just felt like he was taking the Mavs for granted. And so, um, watching this all unfold now, seeing the outrage, even though it's almost to the point where even if the Mavs won a championship, I don't think the fans would care. And that's crazy to me, because Nico is just doing what he thinks is necessary to win a chip. And they are immediately title contenders like they were last year, because what people don't realize is the power forward position has been very thin this year, lately. And pure power forwards. I'm not talking about, small forwards playing power forwards, or, anything like that. I'm talking about, or you got the situations like a Josh Hart, doing power forward responsibilities. I'm talking real pure power forwards. The league is just now starting to go back to that. You see, the Kings acquired Jonas Valanciunas, and they might even play Sabonis at the four. Chet Holmgren, who's making his debut tonight, is going to, for the first time in his career, play power forward finally. And so when you're watching this, it's just truly amazing to witness that, the Mavs have once again beat everyone to the punch. They have the best front line now in basketball. You got Gafford, extremely athletic and physical. That man is a unit. And then you have AD back to his natural help side defensive ways. And then when that, and then you got Lively on the second unit even. And it's just like, and the ironic thing is the Lakers are scrambling to get Luka that now. And so they go get Mark Williams, who's the Gafford. And then you got Jackson Hayes, whom they seem to be very fond of. I think he's from Cleveland, grew up watching LeBron, or he's from Akron. I think there's a familiarity, there's a connection there. And he's lately looked extremely good while they were in the process of hunting for a new big. But he's kind of in the Lively role, even though Lively has shown and presented some moments where he can shoot the ball. He's actually a respectable floor spacer who just hasn't been given the green light to do it more. But they instantly have the best front line. If anything, their concern now is, can PJ Washington continue his shot creating ways, which he proved to do pretty well when Luka has been out over the last month or so. So he actually did pretty well, and even had a 20-20 game against, or 2019, 20 and 19 game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, and then Kyrie's a bucket as well. So it's like, okay, it's like, are people just looking for a reason to be mad? And as far as the future, I mean, there's no guarantee that Luka's going to be healthy. There's no guarantee Mark Williams, who's only played 80-something games in 3 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 years, is going to be healthy. We don't know at all. They could have sold high. And, it's the Mavericks. They got no state tags. The city of Dallas is developing rapidly. And so, and we're seeing more than ever, talent is growing on trees. Literally, a star is born almost every week. Players are coming from the G League. I watched Ricky Council give 16 points in 16 minutes. 2 days before that, he was in the G League, dropping 29. So then goes against the Lakers before that big trade, and, and so this notion that, they fleece. The Lakers got some work to do. What's the effect of, what effect is Luka going to have on Austin Reeves? That's another question. Does that mess up Reeves' ability? Because Reeves has been distributing the ball so well. But I'm just looking, and it's like, I'm very shocked at the fans of Dallas, who just seem so bothered and angered right now, because it's like, some of y'all were cracking jokes that Luka is not, not it, and all this other stuff, and now you guys are, mad because he's gone, and you're really much, the next 3 years, one of the most dangerous teams in the West. And then whatever happens after that, who knows? I mean, you got a casino group that literally wants to bring a casino to Dallas, which is going to be even more money and more of a draw, which is going to incentivize the league to want to continue to mobilize that franchise. And then moving off Luka, to me, was more of a warning to the league, like, hey, this is strike one. We're going to still be competitive, but if we don't get this casino, it can get a lot more uglier. Maybe, who knows what the next thing is. After Kyrie, we might just take our sweet time and try to build through the draft, and that could take another 2-3 years, and we could just melt this entire franchise and city type thing, you know. But Dallas is a draw like Miami. They got no state tax. They got a rich history, quality coach. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. I grew up a Patrick Ewing fan, but the mature version of me today would probably tell you that Jason Kidd would be my favorite player now if I could do a redraft, knowing what I know of hoops now. So like, that man was the LeBron before the LeBron when he got to the East, playing for at the time the New Jersey Nets. Now they're the Brooklyn Nets. So you know, congrats to the Mavericks. I hope everyone is patient. It does feel like it doesn't matter what they do, they're going to be mad about losing Luka, but I think that's more of an indication of just the overall psyche of society today and where people's mentality is at, because they're not even giving it a chance to think about it. But you know, it's not guaranteed the Lakers are going to win a chip. I mean, the Mavericks, as they're constructed, I had Minnesota going to the finals with AD. You know, their odds got a lot better. I don't know if they have anyone that can deal with Ant, but, you know, their odds got considerably better. Anything is possible. The West is up for grabs. The old adage, Wild Wild West, is so much fully in effect. Congrats to the Mavericks. I think, you know, they're in win now mode, and that's what the commitment level is, and I think they took it to the pinnacle with him. And that was, to me, I thought the same thing. First of all, they were never going to, if they didn't get Gafford and pull that last second jack move, which Washington has been notorious for just giving people away for pennies on the dollar, they were not going to the finals with Kyrie and Luka. And so this year, it was for sure not set in stone. Like, you think you're gonna go to this with a front line of Gafford and Powell? It's not gonna happen. And you're not getting everything you can out of PJ Washington if Luka's the primary ball handler, and Dinwiddie's, you know, he's cool, but at the end of the day, you know, that it's like an antique car that could break down at any time if you try to use it as an everyday car. So, you know, the Mavs, bro, they really exponentially improved their odds for the people that really understand basketball. Not trying to toot my own horn, but I mean, this was a necessary move, and it's crazy he's being crucified for making the right decision ultimately, because who knows what the future held. You know, he's already 25, missing months of action. That's kind of crazy. I hope this video was informative. I'll try to do better next time, Utopians. Global out.